Funny thing about people, they think they can do it all on their own. Oh, they love that idea. That they're in control. That every little thing is up to them. They make their plans, set their goals, map out their futures, like they're playing some perfect little game of chess. Move here, go there, take this, win that. Simple, right? But life doesn't play by their rules, does it? No. People are funny. They spend their whole lives stacking up bricks, building towers, constructing castles in the sky, thinking they've got it all figured out. Oh, they love to plan, love to pretend they're the architects of their own little universe. Every detail, every step, every decision, it's all theirs, right? They're in charge. They make the rules. And the best part? They actually believe it. They believe that if they work hard enough, think smart enough, move fast enough, they can make it all last. But let me tell you a little secret. Things that look strong, they're usually the first to fall. See, people don't care about foundations. No, that's the boring part. That's the part nobody sees. They'd rather paint the walls, hang the curtains, pick out the fancy little decorations. Foundations, please. Who's got time for that? They want the finished product, the dream house, the success story, the happy ending. So they build and build and build higher, wider, fancier. And for a while, oh, it looks good. It feels good. Everything is working. Everything is fine. But here's where it gets interesting. Because life is a funny little thing. It's not interested in your plans, your timelines, your carefully crafted blueprints. No, life's got its own way of doing things, and sooner or later, it tests what you've built. Maybe it starts small, a little crack here, a little shake there, a bad day, a lost opportunity, a disappointment. But then, then the real fun begins. The wind picks up, the storm rolls in, the pressure starts mounting, and suddenly that beautiful tower, it's not looking so steady anymore. The cracks are getting bigger, the walls are swaying, and before you even realize what's happening, boom, down it goes. And here's the kicker. It's not the wind that destroyed it. Not the rain, not the storm, not even the weight of the world pressing down. No, it was doomed long before any of that. The foundation was weak, rotten, non-existent. And no matter how tall, how grand, how impressive something looks, if the base is faulty, it won't survive. It can't survive. That's just how the game works. But people, they never see it coming. They stand there in the ruins of what they built, shaking their heads, asking, what happened? They blame the circumstances, blame bad luck, blame everything but the one thing they should have been paying attention to from the very start. Because the truth is they never really had control in the first place. They just thought they did. They thought they could outsmart the rules, take shortcuts, skip the hard part. Life doesn't work that way. It never did, it never will. And here's the part that really gets me. After everything falls apart, after the dust settles and the echoes of their own mistakes start sinking in, what do? They start over. They grab their bricks, their tools, and they build again. Same mistakes, same mindset, same doomed structure, expecting a different result. Now that's funny. Because here's the thing. Real strength, it's not about how tall you build, not about how fast you rise, how much you gain, how perfect it all looks from the outside. No. Real strength is about what's underneath it all. the part nobody sees, the part that actually holds it together when everything starts shaking. And if you don't start there, if you don't build on something that you don't move, then it doesn't matter how impressive your little empire is. Because the second the storm comes knocking, well, you already know how that story ends. People like to think they're in control. That's the joke, isn't it? They wake up every morning, straighten their ties, put on their best smiles, and march out the door like little soldiers, convinced that they've got everything under control. Today's gonna go exactly as planned. Oh, they believe it. They believe it so much that when life does what life always does, when it flips the script, changes the rules, pulls the rug out from under them, they stand there stunned, confused, betrayed. Because nobody likes to admit the truth. Nobody wants to see it. But deep down they know. They feel it. That nagging little whisper in the back of their mind, the one that creeps in when things get a little too quiet. When they're lying in bed staring at the ceiling, when the weight of it all starts pressing down. You're not really in control, are you? But oh, they fight it. They fight it with everything they've got. They make their lists, set their alarms, plan their 5-year futures down to the last tiny detail, pretending they can predict every twist, every turn, every little variable that might try to trip them up. But life laughs at their plans. Life waits for them to get comfortable, waits for them to think they've got it all figured out. And then, then it gets fun. Because life knows the secret. It knows that control is an illusion. It knows that no matter how many times people tighten their grip, no matter how many times they convince themselves they're holding the wheel, the truth is they're just passengers. They always were. And the second something real happens, the second something big comes crashing in, they learn just how little power they actually have. They lose their jobs, they lose their money, they lose their health, their stability, the things they thought were theirs, and that's when the panic sets in. That's when they scramble, grasping at straws, trying to glue the pieces back together. This isn't how it was supposed to go. This isn't fair. But fairness never had anything to do with it. Life doesn't owe them an explanation. Life doesn't follow their rules. And that's the thing about people. They love the idea of trust when everything is going fine. When the sun is shining and their pockets are full and their little world is spinning just the way they like it. Oh, they'll say all the right things. I believe in something bigger. I have faith. I trust that everything happens for a reason. But the second things don't go their way, the second the road gets a little bumpy, suddenly all that trust, out the window. They demand answers. They stomp their feet like children who just got their favorite toy taken away. Why is this happening? I don't deserve this. They start questioning everything. Because trust, real trust, it doesn't show up when things are easy. No. It shows up when things are falling apart. It shows up when you don't understand, when you can't see the end of the road, when everything in you is screaming to take control, to fix it, to do something. But instead, you let go. And that's what people can't do. They just can't. They need to be in charge. They need to know what's next. They need to feel like they've got some kind of power over what's coming. But the irony, the real punchline, the moment they stop fighting for control, the moment they actually let go, that's when things start shifting. That's when things start falling into place instead of falling apart. Because they were never supposed to be the ones steering in the first place. But go ahead, try telling them that. See how well that goes over. People think when things start falling apart, something must be wrong. Oh, no, no, no. That's not how it works, see? That's not how the game is played. They look at their lives, their routines, their precious little plans, and when cracks start showing, they panic. They think they've made a mistake. They think they need to fix it, but maybe, just maybe, things aren't falling apart. Maybe they're falling into place. You see, change never comes wrapped up in a pretty little bow. No one wakes up one morning and just knows it's time. No, 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 that's not how people work. They need a push. They need a nudge, and sometimes, that push feels like the whole world caving in. They lose a job, a relationship crumbles, the doors they were sure were meant for them slam shut right in their faces, and they sit there staring at the wreckage wondering why. Why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? But that's the joke, isn't it? That's the real kicker. Because they don't see it. Not yet. Not at first. Because you see, when something big is coming, when something real is about to shift, life doesn't just knock politely. Oh no, life kicks the door down. It clears the path whether they're ready or not. But people don't like that. People like comfort. They like familiarity. They'd rather sit in a burning building than step into the unknown. So life, well, life has to force their hand. And here's the funny part. If they'd just step back for 1 second, if they'd stop fighting and start watching, they'd notice the signs. Because they're always there. Always. The discomfort, the restlessness, the feeling like they don't fit in their own skin anymore, like the life they built doesn't quite belong to them. But do they listen? Oh, of course not. People don't listen until they have no choice, until the cracks turn into chasms and the floor gives out from under them, and then, only then, do they start looking for answers. And here's where it gets really good. Because right when they think it's over, when they think everything is ruined, that's when the pieces start clicking into place. The people who walked away, they weren't supposed to stay. That job that ended, it was a cage disguised as an opportunity. That door that shut so hard they swore they'd never recover, it wasn't theirs to begin with. But hindsight's a real comedian. Because people don't see it while it's happening. No, no, no. They cry, they beg, they try to force things back to how they were, clinging to the wreckage of a life that isn't even theirs anymore. But here's the secret. Things don't break just to break. They break to rebuild. They fall apart so something better can take their place, but only if people let it. And that's the tricky part, isn't it? Letting go, because people love control. They love thinking they know what's best for them, but sometimes what they think is best is actually what's keeping them stuck. And when it's time to move, when it's time to really step into something bigger, life doesn't give them an option. It shoves them into it. So maybe, just maybe, the destruction isn't destruction at all. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a clearing. Maybe it's the beginning of something so much bigger than they could ever imagine. But hey, go ahead. Try telling them that while they're in the middle of the storm. See how well that goes over. People love the idea of doors opening. Oh, they love it. They talk about it like it's some magical thing, like one day, poof, a golden door appears just for them, just waiting for them to step through. But what they don't understand, what they never understand, is that before the door opens, before they get that big opportunity, before life hands them that golden ticket, there's a process that isn't neat, isn't clean, isn't pretty. No, no, no. It's messy, it's brutal, and it hurts. Because before the door opens, before life moves in their favor, life has to make sure they're ready. It has to shake them. It has to strip them of everything they thought they needed. And that's what people don't like. That's when they start questioning everything, because they think it's supposed to feel good. They think blessings are supposed to come wrapped in nice little packages with their names on them. But real blessings, they don't show up that way. No, real blessings come disguised as chaos. One day everything's fine, the next nothing makes sense. The job they thought was secure is suddenly gone. The people they trusted the most, nowhere to be found. The plans they had, the ones they were so sure about, start crumbling right in front of their eyes. And that's when the panic sets in. That's when they start begging. Why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? But that's the joke. That's the little trick life plays. Because they didn't do anything wrong. They did everything right. See, people think struggle means they're off track. But sometimes struggle is the biggest sign they're exactly where they're supposed to be. Because before they walk through that door, they have to be tested, they have to be prepared, they have to let go of everything that can't come with them. And that's the part that gets them. Because people don't like letting go. Oh, no, no, no. They want the new thing while still clinging to the old. But that's not how it works. That's never how it works. So life starts taking things away. Not to hurt them, not to punish them, but to free them. To strip them down until they're ready to receive what's coming, but they don't see it that way. Oh no. They see it as loss, they see it as failure, and that's when the fear kicks in. That's when they start making deals. If I just hold on a little longer, maybe things will go back to normal. But normal? Normal is the thing that's keeping them stuck. And when people refuse to let go, life steps in and does it for them. It pushes them, forces their hand. And at first it feels like everything is falling apart, but maybe, just maybe, things aren't falling apart. Maybe they're falling into place. Because that's the thing about doors. They don't open until everything before them is finished. Until there's nothing left to go back to. And here's where it gets real interesting, because right when they're at their lowest, right when they think they can't take any more, that's when the door appears. That's when things start moving. That's when the opportunities come. But only if they're paying attention. Only if they don't let fear keep them from stepping forward. Because most people stand in front of the door and hesitate. They get scared. They doubt themselves. They think, what if I fail? What if I'm not ready? But here's the thing, if life brought them to it, they're ready. If life stripped them down, took things away, made room, then that means the blessing is already theirs. They just have to be bold enough to walk through it. But not everyone does. Oh no. Some people turn back. Some people let the fear win. Some people stay right where they are, staring at the open door but never walking through. And That's the real tragedy, because the door, it won't stay open forever. It's there for this moment, and if they miss it, if they hesitate too long, if they let doubt keep them paralyzed, well, the door closes. And once it closes, it doesn't always open again. People love to talk about faith. Oh, they love it. They wear it like a badge, like some shiny little trinket they can pull out whenever things are going their way. But faith, real faith, that's a whole different story. Because real faith doesn't show up when life is smooth, when things make sense, when every little piece falls perfectly into place. No, no, no. Real faith shows up when everything is crumbling, when nothing makes sense, when you look around and all you see is emptiness. That's when you find out what a person really believes. People like to say they trust the process. They say, oh, I know things are going to work out for me. But the second that process starts pulling them into the unknown, the second things don't go exactly the way they planned, they start panicking. Why is this happening? What did I do wrong? They start scrambling, trying to fix things, trying to control things. Because deep down, they don't actually trust anything outside of their own hand. But the joke, the real joke, is that nothing was ever in their control to begin with. You ever watch someone try to hold on to something that's already slipping away? It's funny, in a sad, tragic sort of way. They grip it tighter, dig their nails in, fight with everything they've got, as if sheer force of will can stop the inevitable. But life doesn't work like that. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for them to be ready. When something isn't meant for them anymore, it goes, and they can either let it go willingly or have it ripped away, but either way it will go. And the harder they fight, the more painful it is. See, people don't understand that when things start falling apart, sometimes it's not a punishment. It's protection. It's a setup for something bigger, something better. But they don't see that, do they? Oh no. They see loss. They see failure. They see rejection. And instead of trusting the shift, instead of embracing the unknown, they resist. They try to put back together what was never meant to stay. And that's when the fear sets in. Oh, fear, that old friend, that voice in the back of their head whispering, what if this is the best it gets? What if you never find something better? What if you end up with nothing? And suddenly they start settling. They start clinging to things that aren't right for them, things that drain them, things that break them. They start begging for doors that are already locked. But here's the secret. The doors that close, they close for a reason. The people who walk away, they walk away for a reason. The opportunities that slip through their fingers, maybe, just maybe, they were never meant to stay. Maybe they were just stepping stones. Maybe they were just there to prepare them for something else. But they'll never know, will they? Not if they keep looking back. And people love to look back. Oh, they love it. They live in their memories, replaying old conversations, regretting choices, wishing they could change things. But the past, it's gone. And all that looking back does is stop them from seeing what's ahead. They stand there, staring at what they lost, never realizing that something better is already on the way. But it won't come until they stop holding on to what's already dead. And that's the part people don't like. The waiting, the uncertainty, the not knowing what comes next. Because people want answers. They want guarantees. They want to see what's coming before they let go of what's already gone. But that's not how faith works. Faith isn't about seeing. Faith is about trusting. Trusting that if something leaves, it was never theirs to begin with. Trusting that if something falls apart, it was never meant to stay. Trusting that whatever comes next is going to be so much greater than anything they've ever known. But not everyone can do that. Not everyone has the patience to wait. Not everyone has the courage to step into the unknown. So they rush. They force things. They try to open doors that were never meant for them. And in doing so, they miss what was actually meant for them. They get so caught up in chasing what's gone that they don't even see the new thing waiting for them. Because the new thing, it never shouts, it never forces itself in, it just waits patiently, silently, until the person it was meant for is ready to receive it, ready to recognize it, ready to let go of everything that was never meant to stay. But the question is, will they ever be ready? Or will they let fear keep them chained to a past that's already forgotten them? People always think they know what's best for them. They have these little plans, these neat little blueprints for how life is supposed to go. Get this job, marry this person, buy this house, have this kind of life. They hold onto these plans so tightly, as if they can bend the universe to their will. But life doesn't follow their plans. Life doesn't care about their expectations. It does what it wants, when it wants, how it wants. And when things start falling apart, when the plan doesn't go the way they thought it would, that's when they start panicking. That's when they start questioning everything. See, people love to act like they trust the process. They say things like, everything happens for a reason, until something happens that they don't understand. Then suddenly, they don't want to trust anymore. Suddenly, they start fighting. They start questioning. They start trying to fix things that were never supposed to be fixed. They cling to situations that are falling apart. They chase after people who have already left. They try to force doors open that were never meant to be theirs. And the whole time, they don't realize the more they fight, the worse it gets. You ever watch someone struggle against something they can't control? It's almost funny. They get desperate, they get frustrated, they get angry. They think if they just try harder, if they just push a little more, they can make things go their way. But that's not how it works. Sometimes things fall apart because they need to. Sometimes people leave because they have to. Sometimes the things they wanted so badly don't happen because something better is coming. But they can't see that, can they? Not when they're too busy clinging to the old, terrified of what happens if they let go. Fear, that's the real enemy. Fear of the unknown, fear of losing control, fear of starting over. People get so scared of what's ahead that they'd rather hold on to something toxic than step into something new. They'd rather keep hurting in a familiar place than risk the discomfort of change. They'd rather convince themselves that this is the best it's ever going to get, instead of daring to believe that something better is waiting for them. And that's how people get stuck. That's how they trap themselves in lives that drain them, relationships that break them, situations that were never meant for them in the first place. But here's the thing, when something isn't meant for you, no matter how hard you fight, no matter how much you beg, no matter how much you try to force it, it won't stay. And if it does stay, it will destroy you, it will drain you, it will break you, it will make you question your worth. Because holding on to something that's already gone isn't strength. It's fear, and fear will keep you locked in a prison of your own making. People always ask for signs. They beg for answers. They say, just tell me what to do. But the signs, they're already there. The closed doors, the resistance, the sleepless nights, the exhaustion of trying to make something work that just won't. But instead of listening, instead of trusting, they keep forcing, they keep trying to breathe life into something that's already dead. And then they wonder why they're exhausted, why they feel lost, why they're stuck. The truth is, when something is meant for you, it flows. It comes with peace. It doesn't drain you, it restores you. But when something isn't meant for you, it will take everything from you. It will rob you of your joy, your energy, your peace of mind. And the longer you hold on, the worse it gets. You ever notice how the moment you let go of something toxic, everything suddenly feels lighter? That's not a coincidence. That's not random. That's confirmation. That's proof that it was never meant to stay, but people don't trust that feeling. They second guess it. They think, maybe I gave up too soon, maybe I should have tried harder, maybe if I had done something different it would have worked out. And just like that, they go back to the thing that broke them, back to the cycle that drained them, back to the situation that was never meant for them. It's funny, really. People want change, but they don't want to do what's necessary to get it. They say they want something new, but they won't let go of the old. They beg for clarity, but they ignore the answers right in front of them. And then they wonder why they're stuck. They wonder why they keep going in circles. They wonder why nothing ever changes. But the truth is simple. If you want something new, you have to let go of what's holding you back. If you want to step into something greater, you have to stop fighting for things that aren't yours. And if you want peace, real peace, you have to stop forcing what's already falling apart. But the question is, will you? Or will you keep holding on to what's already gone?